What is up guys, Guidom here, and this is the update for Jigsaw Inventory System 1.3.1, so some bug fixes here and there. Let's go ahead and start by the Jigsaw container here. So the function highlight slots, so you can search for it here. So on the top here, you have this is supported. Normally you would have supported, I think, supported type, I think. Yeah, so you would have this function right here, so you want to replace it with this. So what you want to do here is you want to drag a pin from the slot container here and look for is supported by this, and you want to take the one that doesn't have the question mark right there, and you just want to plug in the item ID and type. Next we want to go to add new inventory item custom vector, and here I added a new variable called equipped item slot size. So let's go ahead and look for that. So equipped item slot size. So the type of this variable is a vector 2D. By default I set it to 60 by 60, and the category to settings, and then I set it to instance editable and expose on spawn. So this is used for when you equip an item directly from a data table. So if we go here to the main inventory here, so you can see here that for this primary container we have the slot size set to 120 by 240. And so when we equip an item, we don't really know what size to use to set the image size of that item. And so we can't just use this 120 by 240 because we could have different weapons with different sizes. So this is not going to work for all of them. That's why we need another variable here to decide what the item size that we should use for the equipped item itself and not for the container. This is used for the container right here. So if I reduce this to maybe 200, you're going to see that it gets reduced there. But this is used for the for items that get equipped to the container. Whereas, for example, a non-equipped to, this is ignored, and this is used for this slot itself, and also for items that get added to this container. So this is mainly why we need that variable. So once you add this variable, you want to plug it to the C slot size here. So next you want to go to the J size slot here, and first you want to go to the refresh on drag enter. So there was an issue with when you rotate an item while dragging it, the highlight indicator might get becomes like inaccurate. So what you want to do here is you want to move this branch from here. So normally it's here. You want to move it all the way here, just before the highlight drag move right there. So that's first, and then find the get slot size here, and here we use the variable that we created earlier, and here, so in the C slot size here, so select node, and then if it's an equipped to, we use the equipped item slot size on the true here. If not, we use the slot size, and also rotate equipped image here. You also want to use the get slot size here, and then you want to flip those vectors right here, so you can do like break here and then make here, and then you want to flip both of them. So as you can see, with those changes, we have the shotgun, for example here, like centered well, and it's not too big, not too small. One last thing here in the JSI slot here, so you want to add the event construct here, so you can just look for event construct, and then you want to call this set pinned in based on this one right here. So this is mainly for when an item is pinned in. If the item is not visible, like we can't stop the animation here, the fade in and out animation, so we have to then wait for the construct event, which triggers when a widget becomes visible again, and then there we evaluate whether this item is pinned in or not, and then we either start or stop the animation there, the fade in and out animation. BP Jig multiplayer here, we're going to start with the handle main player requested data here. So this issue is mainly with the save and load items. So when you load your items, if you have like certain attachments on your weapon, they will not show, and that's because we don't have the item reference here. So what you want to do here is you simply want to add this node, these nodes right here. So you want to get the main replicated containers from here, or you can copy this one right here, and you want to get here by reference. So when you do get, you have copy and reference, so you want the reference here, and then get the index from there, break, and then once again get by reference here, and then do set members and make sure you set this actual reference there. So next function here, this is the can add item. So what you want to do here is you want to plug in the final rotation directly to the select node, and finally the remove get info here. What you want to do here is go all the way down to the right and then add a new local variable. You can click on add new local variable, type integer, and you want to get a unique ID. You can just look for unique ID, get unique ID, and then you want to set that unique ID in this variable. And then in this set members, you want to normally you don't have the replication UID here, so you can just select the node, go to the details panel, and select the replication UID here, so you can enable and disable certain things there. So then plug in this unique ID here, the variable you just created there, and then what you want to do here is you want to, from this temp item, you want to break it using the break node right there, and then you want to get the subcontainers. Once again, you want to get by reference, not copy, and then you want to get the index here, and then set members there. Just call in the set members like so, and then when you select that set members, you can choose what items you want to modify on that struct. So we simply want to select the mother UID and the unique ID, and then you want to plug in the new unique ID, which is this one right here. And the mother UID, and then new container UID, and then unique ID. So this issue is with the vendor. So when you buy two similar items, they kept the same unique ID for the containers. So this makes sure that those those containers get a new unique ID. So yeah. So these changes are only necessary if you are not running 1.3.1. Finally, I just want to say that if you are going to modify the if item info, which is what we use in the data table here. So if we open the if item info, and let's say I want to add some new variable, for example durability. So let's go ahead and add durability there. I want to change the float here. So what happens here is that when you add a new item to a certain struct, it gets compiled and its reference gets updated. So what you need to do here is you need to go to any blueprint that is using this struct right here that you just modified, and you want to compile them. Otherwise, you might get some weird behavior here. So what you want to do here is you want to go to your output log here, and you want to filter. Normally you would have like a bunch of white messages here. So what you want to do here is filter by messages. So as you can see here, we have no issues. So once you do modify that struct, what you want to do next is go to Jigsaw, then widgets, and then as you can see here, these blueprints are unsaved, and that means that these blueprints use that struct and they need to be recompiled for that new struct reference to be updated. So what you want to do here is just open JSI slot, go ahead and compile, and then of course select the JSI container and compile, and open any blueprint that uses that struct and then compile them. This way you're not going to have any issues. So now you just go ahead and do a save all here, and of course it's going to save all the blueprints that are using that struct. And of course if we play here, it's going to pause like for a few seconds. So this is auto compiling all those blueprints, and as you can see everything now works just fine. So if you don't do this, you might get some weird behavior. So the way to know that a certain blueprint needs to be recompiled is if you restart your project. So let's go ahead and close this and restart. So here we go. So once you restart, make sure you are looking at your output log here. If you don't see your output log, you can go to window here, then developer tools, and then the output log right there. So what you want to do here is you want to filter by warnings and errors. So you want to check the messages here, and as you can see, look at this. These are all warnings and errors. So all these errors and warnings are simply saying unknown struct, as you can see. So the reason here is simply that it says unknown structure. That's because we modified that struct, and the new reference needs to be updated on any blueprint that uses that struct. So This basically means that you simply need to compile that blueprint. So generally speaking here, whenever you're encountering some weird behavior, always just go to your output log here, filter by warning and errors, and just look at this. If you see a known struct, that means you need to go and compile that blueprint. So what we see here, it says BP jig multiplayer has some unknown struct. So that simply means that I can go here, open that. So even though it says compile here, it's actually not fully compiled. So what you need to do is compile here, and let's see what we have here. So we have BP, all this is BP. We have the BP interface there. So finally we have the main pickup classes here. So let's go ahead and open them real quick there and just compile them. So compile, save, and then compile, save. So of course you can also right click clear and then keep working on your project, and then always come back here and take a look and see if there's anything wrong there. So let's go ahead and give our project another restart here. So here we go, we just restarted our project. Once again, I'm going to do the same thing, filter by messages. So as you can see here, we still got some errors there. Now we detected some new errors with the character BP here. So sometimes when you compile, so because we compiled the BP jig multiplayer, now it checked the character which is linked to that component, of course, and now it found issues with unknown struct. So it's the same thing once again. So generally this is not going to affect your project or anything. It's just you might get issues while like packaging your project. If it fails, it's probably due to just some error with unknown struct or something like that. You just want to make sure that your blueprints are fully compiled. So let's go ahead and open the character here, go ahead and do compile, and anything that you suspect that might be using that struct, so always just edit here, go ahead and compile, go open the multiplayer once again, compile, save, very important, always you want to save there. And let's see what else here. So output log, so restarted for the third time here. So we're gonna uncheck the messages here, and now as you can see we only have a few remaining here. So all I need to do here is just open those and compile them. So restarted once again. Let's go ahead and check out the filter by warnings and errors. As you can see now we are warning and error free. So you don't have to do this like every time. So mainly you want to just go to demo here or Jigsaw here, widgets, and then simply compile the GSI container and the GSI slot, and you should be fine. So that does it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. So until then, stay safe. See you later. Goodbye.